2025, another episode of A World Gone Mad. I'm your host, Jeff Allen Wolf. Welcome back. It's season 2. Last week I said it was season 1, and I forgot to flip it because it was the second year since the start of my podcast from 2024. So we're technically season 2, episode 51 total of all the episodes from January of last year. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to have you take 2 minutes with me if you could and indulge me. I have 2 major announcements to make, and I want to explain the first one. I mentioned last episode that Facebook had hijacked my posts and the links to my podcast. Basically, freedom of speech has gone out the window at Facebook, going after Democrats. Now, I know this for a fact because I said this last episode, and I said this in some emails to listeners, but I'm going to repeat it. I made a comment in one of the Facebook groups, one of the Democratic Facebook groups that had over 17,000 or more members, and I commented on someone's thread, which I thought was an interesting comment, and I commented back. The admin wrote back, "I approved your comment." Well, gee, thank you. And the reason why I had to approve it is because Facebook labeled me as a spammer. Wow, really? And my comment was just a basic comment from me as a podcaster and as a Democrat and as a citizen of the United States. I basically said XYZ. I agree with the poster. Thank you so much. So I wrote the admin back and said, "What the F?" exclamation point. The admin wrote me back and said, "I had to override that and approve that because that comment from me, what the F, was listed as spam from Facebook." So basically, I wrote back and said, "Thank you very much." And all of a sudden, the admin is no longer answering me, so I guess he believed I was a spammer. So there's where we have it. Facebook has become a cluster, you know what, from Republicans and MAGA. And apparently a lot of MAGA members are reporting any Democrat with their posts. If you've had this happen to you, please tell me, email me, text me, let me know. So I figured I'm not going to let freedom die. I'm not going to put up with this crap. Nothing is going to bother me this year, as much as I hate Donald Delusional being president again. So I decided to go back to an original account I started last month and really push it. I am now a World Gone Mad on Blue Sky. And if you are not on Blue Sky, I am letting you know now, I am so excited to be moving over to Blue Sky. And I invite you to do the same and join me. It is the better place to be. Why meta when you can do better? I bet a lot that, like me, you'll like it better. Yeah, and that comment was suggested from my fellow podcaster and friend Bill Monty, and he suggested I say that. So I'm going to blame the beta meta comment on him. Thanks, Bill. Anyways, gray skies are forecast in D.C. in 2025, but nothing but blue sky for this podcast and me, A World Gone Mad. Follow me to Blue Sky, and let's stick it to the orange guy heading into the White House this January 20th. Let's take back the narrative and stand up for democracy and our country. By the way, check out Bill Monty, my friend who does 2 great podcasts, but check out his Tales from South Florida. He's also transitioned to Blue Sky. By the way, how to find a World Gone Mad on Blue Sky? Once you get to Blue Sky, type in the search with no spaces, put Wolf on the air, or email me, and I'll give you the link to my Blue Sky, or text me with your email, and I'll email you back with that link. Okay? So World Gone Mad, we are on for the second year. Blue Sky. I'm not abandoning Facebook. I'm still going to be looking at it and commenting, but not a lot of people are seeing the posts. So join me on Blue Sky. I am excited. So my first major announcement was to be moving to Blue Sky. And the second major announcement, I said this a while back, and I gave reasons why I didn't implement it yet. But starting this week, this podcast, A World Gone Mad, will be going 3 times a week. That's right, 3 times a week. Hey guys, if you're doing it once a week and you're enjoying it, why not do it 3 times a week? You know what I mean? Okay, but seriously, we're going to be going, we're transitioning to Blue Sky and then 3 times a week for the podcast. So you're going to be seeing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is when the podcast will hit. Some of you will get early access if you're a Wolfpack member. Others will see it Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay? So that's the 2 big announcements. The key thing this week for politics in the United States is Biden's last week before he leaves. Is there anything President Biden can do at the last minute? Now, he and all the Democrats are trying to put up guardrails against Donald Delusional, but how much can actually be accomplished in the last week really remains to be seen. Now, Trump is gearing up minute by minute. His chaos is ramping up every hour of the day. We await for every new lunatic idea that Donald proposes. Now, I believe all of you, if not most of you, have heard the following in the last week or so. Trump wants to purchase the following 3 places: Greenland, Panama, and Canada. Now, Greenland, which is interesting, has a major military facility to assist NATO in protecting Europe, from foreign aggression like Ukraine and Poland, which are in the sights of Putin next. So that would be a benefit to Putin. Panama has sanctions against Russian vessels traveling through the canal, and Putin wants those sanctions lifted. Canada has territorial rights in Arctic and oil gas reserves and the maritime routes. Putin wants those rights demolished. So this question has been asked by others. Who is Trump working for? Not the U.S. when he treats American allies like adversaries in furthering Putin's interest. So Donald's efforts to get Greenland, Canada, and Panama is questionable, as I say in many episodes before. And what's going to happen? He assign Donald Trump Jr. as his envoy to Greenland to be able to purchase Greenland. I think he also wants to buy all the Krispy Kremes and McDonald's so he can have donuts and double, triple hamburgers for himself. Anyways, Donald keeps making bizarre requests. We'll see how it plays out. There's a lot more to come, and as I've said before a couple of times, the thick plottings. Let me switch gears to climate change. As we know, I don't know if every Republican feels this way, but I believe what I've seen and read, like yourself, basically all Republicans are denying climate change, right? Well, from personal experience, and we living in Santan Valley, Arizona, I could tell you, climate change, desert, Arizona, we hit 26 degrees today. That's right. We had a low of, we had a low of 26 degrees. And with the wildfires happening in LA, there's no climate change. Yeah, all right, scratch your head. Yeah, okay. Delusional MAGA followers and Donald the leader. So if you've had that happen in your area, let me know. Text me, email me. But climate change is real. Speaking of reality, or unreality, if you will allow me that, Judge Eileen, I don't know nothing about the law Cannon, made a ruling on special counsel Jack Smith's report into Trump and election subversion, whether he could release it. She said, surprisingly, yes, he can release it. However, there's always a however with her, but she has to be in the public eye, and she doesn't know much about law. Judge Eileen Cannon has scheduled a court hearing later this week regarding the part of Smith's report dealing with the classified documents probe. In other words, he could release the other thing, but this one we're not so sure, and let's have a hearing to discuss it. Discuss among ourselves. I'm sorry, this judge should not be in charge of making rulings like this. So switching to another clown inside Donald Trump's clown car, we have Pete Hegseth, and he made a comment about U.S. military bases, and his first thing on his mind is the U.S. military bases should restore the names of Confederate generals. That's right, President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense has voiced strong opposition to removing the names of Confederate generals from U.S. military bases, repeatedly saying the names should be changed back. Hegseth, who is a National Guard veteran and a longtime Fox News host, described the renaming efforts as a, ready, sham, garbage, crap, in various media appearances between 2021 and 2024. And he, restated this recently. Hegseth said the moves eroded military tradition, really, and were part of what he characterized as a politically motivated progressive agenda infiltrating American institutions. So military Confederate leaders, you want to rename them back to the bases because of exactly what redeeming features? Unless you were from the South and you believe that the Civil War, you got screwed over when the North won. More lunatics in the asylums soon to be in charge of our country. Now, if Trump's clown car wasn't full enough, I want to let everyone know, the Wolfpack listeners and all the new listeners, what's coming up this week. Senate confirmation hearings for Trump's clown car picks. Cabinet picks kick off this week. Here's what to know. Some of President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet selections will appear in front of the Senate in the coming days as confirmation hearings kick off. So Wednesday, I'm just going to run down a quick list. The pick for Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. The Attorney General pick, Pam Bondi. Secretary of State pick, Mark Rubio. The pick to head the CIA, John Ratcliffe. The Transportation Secretary pick, Sean Duffy. The pick for Energy Secretary, Chris Wright. And the pick for Director of the Office of Management and Budget, Russell Vought. Those are the people on tap for Wednesday. And to build a bigger clown car, Thursday, the Attorney General pick, Bondi, will return for her second hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The pick for Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Lee Zeldin. Pick for Housing Secretary, Scott Turner. And finally, Treasury Secretary pick, Scott Bessent, will appear before the committee. So the clown car grows bigger. January 20th brings more clowns. It's going to get weirder and weirder, right? We have to deal with this. And the scratching of the surface in the past month to 2 months before, after the election results, get ready, folks, strap in. It's going to be a bumpy ride. So I could use the Wolfpack listeners' feedback here. By the way, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If you're not a member of the Wolfpack, again, it is free. Free. F-R-E-E-E. 3 E's. That's how free it is. Free. It's free. It takes less than a minute to join. And what it gives you as a member, you will never be charged for my podcast ever. And other perks and benefits that come along as the podcast listening audience grows bigger. So text me, email me, whatever, get a hold of me, and I will get you the link to joining the Wolfpack. Or go to Blue Sky, and the link is in my profile there. Okay? WolfpackListener@gmail.com. WolfpackListener@gmail. You can text me through several of the apps you're listening on. So here's the feedback I need from the Wolfpack listeners, okay? I have a survey question to ask you. I would love for the new year, a lot of you who are listening, to actually participate. It helps, and we could share it with everyone else. What 1 or 2 things are you worried about that could affect you and your family when Donald Delusional takes office January 20th? What 1 or 2 things are you worried about that could affect you and your family? I'll use the best answers on my podcast and my upcoming weekly episodes, okay? So email me, join me on Blue Sky. Don't forget, we have 3 episodes a week now starting today, and I will be letting you know any other announcements. I want to thank everyone in advance. So here we go. A full frontal assault from Donald and masses entering into the White House come January 20th. Do not give up, people. Do not hide. I got a lot of people saying they're not engaging anymore in social media. They're scared. They're hiding. Do not stop looking at social media. I got a lot of people telling me they're running away. I know how you feel. I really do. I do this daily with my podcast. How do you think I feel? About ready to tear my hair out and shoot myself. But you have to stay tuned in. You have to be aware. You can't hide with your head in the sand. I told 1 or 2 people, don't give up until I give up. And I ain't freaking giving up to kill the King's English. As I said at the start of the episode this week, I will be doing 3 episodes a week. I'll see you this Wednesday and Friday. Some of you will receive that Thursday and Saturday the next day, depending on when you look. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf for A World Gone Mad. I'll be back in 2 days. Until then, stay hopeful.